Okay, hello everyone. So we are going to start the second part of the special review episode of the season 3 for any on Python. So unfortunately, last week we couldn't finish the review. I think that it's very important to review and finish and understand the first half of the any on Python season 3. So I intentionally the progress very slow for you guys to the follow or the catch up the last season part. If you do not the complete the season 3 episode 1 through 10, please pay attention to the today's episode. And I think that you have enough time because it's already summer, so most of you guys wrap up the spring semester, so they start the new summer. So during you have enough time, so please the spend a little bit more time to review and all the material, the everything on the web page is any on Python web page, so you can find the link and everything, whether you can search the YouTube. Everything is on the YouTube and the website, so you can find all the information. So then I think you will enjoy the rest of the season 3 any on Python. Okay, then as usual, please turn on your video. That helped me a lot to check your feedback and the response. And otherwise, it looks like talking to the world. So it's very hard for me to manage the class. So please turn on your video so nobody knows each other. So it's from California to the New York, and some of them are in the Texas or the Illinois. So you don't have to be shy. So please turn on your video. So nobody blame, nobody judge your the face. So and please mute your audio. So if you have any questions, best way is to use the chat box. So today we have I think the Brian the join. So let me check the change the permission to the course. And I'm not sure the Irvin is he's not here. So in case the Irvin joined, either the Nicholas or Brian, please change the role of the Irvin as the co-host. Okay, then let me change our screen into the where's it? Yes, stop share. And before we start, so this is our desk. So let me minimize this and bring up our slide. So I think if you already did the previous season, you know our stretch. So before we start, little bit stretch, so you can relax. And this is not a regular course. You don't have to be stressful. So you can but this is not the drama. So you should not just watch the anyone Python lecture. Instead, your finger and your the hand should be very busy to type or to follow the instruction. Okay. Then if you have any questions, you can use the chat box. Then either Brian or the Nicholas will take care of your question. Also, for your reminder, so from the last the episode, we have the 30-minute the office hour by the TA. Please use the TA office hour. So last the week, only the couple of students left the stay at the breakout room. So, but I don't think the other old student understand my lecture. My lecture is not perfect. So please stay in the breakout room. If you if you are doubt or if you don't understand anything, please do not set aside. Instead, please try to solve any problem or try to resolve any issues before you leave this Zoom meeting. Okay, that is the best way. I don't want you guys study later. Okay, so instead you can read a book or enjoy the post-pandemic. So don't set aside left the doubt or the missing part. So either the Nicholas or the Brian will stay up to 30 minutes in the breakout room, then individually they can take care of your question. Okay, so let's continue the lecture from functions. So last week I reviewed very briefly at the end. Usually the end of the episode there is a hurry and rush to explain something. So last topic was the function. So anyone who remember what is the function in the annual Python? What I like to use the analogy. So I used something different name for the function. Anyone who remember? If you know the answer, so why don't you use the chat box? Wow, Idan did the guessing game by himself. Very nice, good job. But so what is the different name in this class? So for function, anyone who remember? If you know the answer, whether if you can guess, I think it's already here. If you see the screen, it's already there. Nobody, I think yes, the Daniel, very nice. So we call the function is a black box. We don't have to worry about the too much inside when we are using function. So instead, we can just use the parameter as an input. So then the return as the output. So for example, if there's a black box multiplied by 2, you don't have to worry about what's going on inside. Just put the input value 1, then output will be, what will be the output? Multiply by 2? Yes, it's 2. And if you input 2, output will be 4, like that. So this is a function. So if you have the function, it's very, very easy to calculate the process, the information and data. So we can rely on such a many functions. Then, in other words, so when you create your own program, if you are able to create, if you are able to make such a function, that's it. Game is over. Okay. Somebody says the coding problem is the creating function. So if you are able to create the function, then that's it. This game is over. Okay. So very, very important. So when you encounter any problem, so then if you would like to use a Python to solve the problem, what you need to do is to create the function. First, you design what kind of function you need. Then using Python command, you can create the function. So I think most of the problem in Python, you are able to solve the problem with the function. So that's the function. Then, for example, we have the Python code like this. First, how many functions in this code? How many functions can you find? 2. Maria, very nice. And anyone else? Daniel said there is a 2. Everybody agree? Is it just 2? Yes. So we can create the function in Python using DEF. As you learned a lot of time, I mentioned a lot of time. Then there is a name of function. This one, name is main. What about this one? This function, what is the name of this function? It's the max, right? So max is the name. Then there's no input for the main. There's no output. But the max function has the input num1 and num2, 2 multiple input, and return value is the num2, like that. Then what you need to do in this, the annual Python is you are able to create the function inside. then create the black box. Then your friend can use your function also. One more important thing is, this is the anyone Python screen, as I introduced many times. So this is kind of the Python desktop. You remember that? So we are going to understand how does this function work in our anyone Python desktop, anyone Python screen. So let's move on. So as I said, the function is the black box. So one box will be created in the main memory. Okay, so it's in the memory. So memory is like my bookshelf. A lot of information, a lot of books. It's well organized. So this is the memory. This is the storage. From time to time, I get my book from memory. So in this case, so I create I have a box over here. This is a function. So create the function on the bookshelf. From time to time, I'm going to use this box like this. This is a main. Then this main for max. So what happened? Max will be created. So another black box in the memory. Okay, this one has the input. So you specify the input 5, 1. Then this will be transferred as the input of the max function, max black box. Then what's going on inside? So there is the if the command. If you do not know what is a if, don't worry. So if you stay in this room the 10 minutes, so you will see what is the input. So, but what is the if? Then the if num1 is bigger than num2, you understand already. If you know the English, if you read the English, so it's not a big problem. As I said, Python is high-level language. High-level language means it's very close to the human language, natural language. So I think most of you guys in this room can understand. So what does this statement means? If num1 is bigger than num2, then return num1. Otherwise, return num2 like this. So num1 is 5 and num2 is 1. So it's the small storage in the memory also. It's the box. Where is it? So like this one. This is a variable box. Variable box will be created in the memory. So that is this box. Then which one is bigger? So num1 is bigger than num2. So output will be 5. So this output will be back to the main, the larger. So don't forget, in Python, equal sign means what? A sign, yes. So it's not equal. So here's another question. What is equality in Python? Anyone who knows? I'm not sure whether I mentioned that. Yes, Elisa, very nice. Elisa, very nice to meet you. How's your dad? I think that you'd better learn from your dad. Her dad is much better than me. So thank you for joining. So this is the assignment, and double equal sign is the equality that you know that you are using in mathematics. Okay, then larger is also variable in the memory, then it's the 5. So this is what's going on when you are using function. Please remember, keep your mind. Function is the black box that will be created on the memory or bookshelf. Then from time to time, whenever you need, you are able to use the function by pulling. Okay, so it's convenient. So this is the function. Then today we are going to review the next topic. Next topic, episode 6 was more function, because function is important. So we spend 2 weeks to learn about the function. So example of the function, some of the function you need to create your own function. Sometimes it's called the user function or built-in the user function or the customized function. But some function is already given. So Python provides some of the well-known functions. So here's a question. This function print text to the terminal. This function create the print, display the text to the terminal. What is this function? Anyone else? Print, yes, very nice. Maria, user, very nice. Please don't be shy. If you are shy, so nothing you can get, okay? Just try. Nobody knows who you are. So some of you, I know, there is a familiar face, but you don't have to worry about the other in this classroom, okay? So if you are shy in the classroom, in the room, so nobody blame you, even though it's not correct, okay? But that's much better than the quiet. So print, yes, even you can guess. So there is already hint, print. So when people develop this function, they are not going to name the elegant or fantastic or new word. Instead, they try to make it easy to use. So it's a simple name. It's a print. Okay. So can you guess what is the number 2 Python command? Get text input from the user. What is the name of this function? You can use the chat box. Don't worry about too much the answer from other students. Just type yours. So Daniel, Maria, the Eden said it's an input. Yes, it's already here. So some people who develop the Python just name it as the input because it's get the data from user input. So this is an input function. Then what is the number 3? Convert this any data, input data to a number. Specifically integer number, whole number. Yes, because it's integer, so int. So sometimes the computer science guy or computer science developer, they are lazy. They don't want to write the entire word. Instead, abbreviation or short the beginning. So like the instead of integer, int. There is another one, it's a float. Here's the question. We spend a little bit of time. What is the difference between int versus float? Which one is for the whole number? Yes, very nice answer from the chat box. So much better than me. Really good. Then there's a simple question. When you store the whole number, like the 1, 2, 3, which one will be used? Integer or float? Integer is better. Why? What happens when you are using the float for whole number 1? It will be 1.0. Then we spend a little bit time. Why differentiate? Number is number. Then why integer and float? Very nice answer, Daniel. Thank you. Then why we differentiate? Why? It's a little bit difficult question, I know. But you can guess. It's the for provide decimal point. Right, it's correct. Then why? There are several different reasons, but the main reason is to save bookshelves. So my bookshelf is limited. Okay. So when you store the small book like this one, so you don't want to put the textbook in the really big storage. It's a waste. So we want to keep whole number in the small storage. That is the integer. Float need more space because it's the decimal point, then sometimes the 3.14, blah, blah, blah. It keep the bigger space. So that is the reason we differentiate to save the memory space. If we save the memory, what happens? Your computer will be fast. Okay, that is our goal, to use computer fast, always fast, fast, fast. Okay, so that is the reason we differentiate. But good news, Python has only integer and float. But if you learn the other program languages, there are integer, double integer, float, and blah, blah, blah. Really a lot different the types. But Python, good news is only integer or float. Okay, and what about the number 4? This function creates a collection of numbers. For example, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. ls list. Is a list function? Not sure. So this is a function that creates a list of numbers, like the 0, 1, 2. Yes. Do you remember? Why don't you take a look at the chat box? It's a range. So range function used a lot, basically with the list. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we spend a little bit time to know about the range. So range is the mostly used function. Okay, so in the Python program, specifically nowadays, if you are interested in the AI, machine learning, data analytics, so we use a lot of such a range. Okay, then the next step is practice. So as a user, why don't you open the PyCharm? So if you do not know what is a PyCharm, please watch the previous video. Then we are going to continue to use this file, ESP episode special, and click. You should be ready like this. Okay, if you are ready, please give me thumbs up. If you have the PyCharm like this with the E1, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this one, please give me thumbs up. Very nice, Ida. And who else? Nice, Lisa. And please give me thumbs up. And if you encounter any problem, if you cannot understand what I'm saying here, please chat to the TA, then they will answer for you or question. Okay, then. So why don't you click the 6? It's a factorial. So first, what is a factorial? You remember what is a factorial? So let me change the question. What is the value of 3 factorial? 3 factorial? Yes, 6. Because factorial means it's the multiplication from that number, 1 less, 1 less, 1 less until 1. So for example, 3 factorial means 3 times 2 times 1. 1 is the same thing. So 3 to 1. So it's the 6. If you 5 factorial means the 5 times, 4 times, 3 times. So 120. Thank you. So 120. But important thing is, what about the 0 factorial? What is the 0 factorial? It's a homo. Why don't you find it? Okay. Is it 0? 1. Okay, then. So we will solve the problem of the factorial using functions. So what you need to do is you are going, first, for your reminder, our annual Python program always has the 3 parts. One is this one. You don't have to touch anything, this part. Okay, this is basically calling the main function first. So then you have always the main function. So what you need to do is to figure out the main, this part. Fortunately, this time we have the code for the main. However, we do not have the factorial function here. So factorial is here. So, but as you can see, it's the past, means nothing here. So what you need to do is to code, to add the code that return factorial. What factorial? N factorial. Input is n and output is the n factorial. In case the 3, then output is 6, like that. So I will give the 3 minutes to code this. Why don't you start? You don't have to, I do not explain the triple quotation mark. This is the command, but specifically it's the dark test. So later, I think that we have a time to explain what is the dark test. It's a kind of unit test. But don't worry about too much the command right now. We already did in the last the season. So if you finish this one, please give me thumbs up. Then I can see who complete this. And you can use the for loop that we are going to review the next step, and also you can use the range function. Anyone who solved the problem? Please give me thumbs up if you solved the problem. Okay, let's just solve the problem together. So first, I'd like to, you need to first delete the past. Past is just skip everything after that. So delete the past. Then, so I'd like to return the result. So this is the final output. Then this result is the initially 1. The reason is that the factorial always the 1 or higher. So 0 factorial even is the 1. So it's the result is the 1. We start from 1. Then for loop, we can use the for loop. So I is the index that we are going to see the more details after this. Then range, the from 1 through what? So range is, so for example, range 5 create what? Range 5 create 0. Always start from the 0. 1, 2, 3. But 5 is not included. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But when you factorial, it's the 5 factorial means 5 times, 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, 1. So which means, so 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5. So it starts from the 1. So if you want to specify the starting number of the range, so you can use 1 comma. So you can start from 1, then up to what? It's the n, n plus 1. The meaning is, so your number is the start from I start from 1 through n. So if you specify the 5 here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can give the plus 1 because range generate the number 1 less than the this. Okay, I hope that you remember the this. Then don't forget the colon. What is the meaning of the colon? Do you remember that? Code block. So we are going to start the code block. So result. So multiply by I. So this is the short notation of the multiplication. So you can do that this way. Result. So result times I. But the people, Python guys like the, because it's a result 2 times. So instead, so we are going to use the shorthand of the operation like this. So meaning is result is the result times I. So what is the I? It's a 1, 2, 3 up to n. So repeated. Then after that result will be returned. Then in your main, the factorial will be displayed. So let's check. Let's run the program. So how can we run the program? So you can use Python command. If you are using the Mac, Python 3. If we are using the Windows, TY. Okay, then you can type the file name like this. Okay. Let's check. The max num is the constant variable, constant value. Max num is 4. So it's the 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 3, 4 of the factorial. So 0 factorial is 1. 1 factorial is 1. 2 factorial is 2. 3 factorial is 6. So the code is done for the factorial. Okay. So if you don't understand clearly, please stay after the class. Then the TA will explain more about the factorial function, how it works. Especially you can focus on this how to use the range and the for loop and how to use the short operation. Okay, move on to the next. So next one, we cover the last the season is the conditional statement. Not always the Python code is the sequential, depending on the value. So sometimes you can do this, sometimes you can do this. It's a conditional statement. So to do that, Python provides this, the conditional statement if. So if then condition, if this condition is true, to the body like this. At this time, the condition should be, what is this? If you feel that the lecture is too fast, which means I think it's a good time to review the last season. Okay, so this is a review season. That's the reason I skipped. We already covered the last season for all of this. So this is a review time for you. Okay, so what is the number 1? So the condition should be this, which is either true or false. What is this? It's the, yes, the Boolean. So oops, this is called the Boolean. Boolean is also data type, either true or false. So we can use this Boolean for the condition part. So if true, then do this. Otherwise, false, no. So which means we'd better know about this condition more. So here's the testing operator, whether this is true or false. As we have learned to check before, double equal sign means whether left-hand side, right-hand side are the equal or not. So for example here, is it true or false? 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is equal to 2. Is it true or false? If you believe that this is true, you can thumbs up. Otherwise, I'm not sure whether we have the thumbs down. We do not have the thumbs down. Only thumbs up. So if you believe it's true, please give me thumbs up. Yes, this is true. Okay, then the next one is it's a not equal. So it's the opposite of the equal. So 3.2 is not 2.5. Is it true or false? Yes, it's true. So because they are not the same, this is true. So we have the inequality sign. It's a less than. 10 is less than 5. Is it true or false? False. Yes. Very nice. And then 10 is greater than 5. Is it true or false? True. Then the 126 is less than or equal to 100. Is it true or false? False. And the greater than or equal to 5.0 is greater than equal to 5.0. Is it true or false? Yes, it's true. So we can use such a conditional statement or testing operator in condition. Then if true, and run the body. Definitely body is in the code block. It's after the column. Okay, so this is the if condition. So we have a question. So why don't you? Oh, by the way, if you cannot follow the lecture, you can always check the solution. This one has the solution. So check the, for example, if is here, if condition like this. However, before you check the solution, please try to solve the problem by yourself. So the question is, ask the user for number. How can you ask the number to the user? Which function can you use? Which function? Yes, so you can use the input like this. Enter a number will be displayed and wait for the input of a user. Then always input data is a string. Even though you type 1, even though you type 0, it's considered as the string. It's a character. So we need to change such a character string into integer number. So we can use the int function. We learned already the input and integer. Then depending on the input number, print 0 or positive or negative. So this the one is just checking your number is 0. So why don't you make it better? Either positive or negative or 0. So why don't you start? I think that this one is easier than the previous one. I will give the 1 minute, 20 seconds. So why don't you try to solve this problem? To do that, first delete this part. Okay. If you do not remember the details of if, here's the hint. Oh, is it answer? I'm not sure. So if this is true, and run this one. Else, otherwise, checking the elif, this. If this is true, do this one. Then, if nothing, then the last choice is the else. Then this will be displayed. This is a hint to complete your code. Then run the program. If you are done and get the correct result, please give me thumbs up, and I can recognize who did. I think the summer start and also vacation start, a lot of students missed Neon Python. So, but I believe all of you who are attending today's class will be successful in the future. I cannot guarantee, but higher chance. Anyone who solved the problem, and please after the code, complete the code, run your program, see the result. Who did? Anyone? Is it difficult? So there's a hint left hand side already. Okay, let's solve the problem together then. So if num is equal to 0, print your number is 0. It's okay. But what if negative value? So always it's the indentation. So if it's still ongoing, so we can have the same indentation. And if the num is the less than 0, then print your number is negative. So 0, no. Negative, no. Then the last option, even you don't have to check because the others will be the else. The print, oops, don't forget the colon because it's the code block. Then your number is positive. So like this. Then that's it. So how do I check? So you can run the program. So same thing. So E07 is an if condition. So here, there's a pro tip. You don't have to type all the file name when you run, just 2 or 3 letters. Then tab is autofill. Automatically fill the rest of the file name. Then you can enter. So then enter the number. 0? Yes, your number is 0. Run. 10. Your number is positive. Then -1. And it's a negative. Here's the question. What if 1.5? Does it work or not? Something error. So why don't you check such a why this one? So when you type the 1.5. In other words, decimal point number, float number, why is the error. It's your job to figure it out. Okay, let's move on to the next. So after the if condition, we learned about the loop. So there are two loops we learned. Do you remember what are they? One is the while. While is the keep doing the loop until condition. As long as condition is satisfied. In other words, as long as the condition is true, then do the same thing again and again. This is a while loop. On the other hand, the while loop, on the other hand, for loop is the specified. We will see what is a for loop later. So first, the while loop. So while loop is the if condition is true with again and again and again. So this is a while loop. So here's the question: which one is the better for while loop? One is the for each family member ask a menu for a dinner. So you go to the restaurant with your family member, then the order. So for each family member, ask a menu for a dinner. Then another case is every day, keep writing and writing a letter to the Senate until the bill is passed. So there are two cases, number one and number two. Which one is good for while? Number one or number two? What do you think? Number two? Number two? Who else? What do you think, Brandon? Is it number one or number two? It's the number two is majority, so number two is better. The reason is that while loop is as long as condition is true until the bill is passed. So until if bill is not passed, then the keep writing, keep doing this body. So if you do not know how many times, then you can use a while loop. Okay, so this one is better. However, for loop is different. So for loop, so we are going to see the same question. Say number one and number two. Which one is good for the for loop? Number one or number two? In this time. For each family member, ask a menu for a dinner. And the number two, every day keep writing a letter to the Senate until the bill is passed. So which one is better for the for loop? What do you think? It's the number one, because when you know how many, what target, so at that time, for loop is better. So this is just the simple rule. If you do not know the how many times, instead if you know the just condition, while loop is better. However, if you know the what you need to do, if you know the target, then for loop is better. For example, the for loop is the for in. Then there is the list. So how many times or the target? For example, family member, the dad, mom, and me, like this. If you know if you have such a list, you can specify the list in the in. Then for each member, then this XXX is the index variable. So you can do the first member for the for loop body, and the second member and the for loop body like that. So I think it's kind of an idiom. I mentioned that in the Python program. For in range count, meaning is, so if you have the 5, then it's the range 5 generate the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So then first loop is a 0. I is equal to 0. And second, I is equal to 1. And the third, I is equal to 3, 2, 3, 4. And one by one. So this is the full loop. Okay. So let's solve the problem for the 8 first. So this one, you don't have to solve the problem. Instead, I'm going to explain guess the number. Okay. So here is the starting. So call the main function. So main is here. Then this is the game to guess the number from 0, 1 through 99. So how can you guess? How can you guess the number that I'm thinking? It's a kind of the cut in a half. It's a binary search. So it's a 1 through 99. So is it the fifth? It's a half. Then if I'm thinking the 75 is bigger than 50. So you can answer your guess number is less than or bigger than secret number. We already did the similar thing in the if statement. So we are going to continue this one until we find the number, secret number that I'm thinking. It's a guess number is the same as the secret number, we stop. In other words, if guess is not the same as the secret number, we can stop. So this is the guess game. So let's start. So to use the random, so we are going to import. So import means somebody already create the random function. So we are going to use the random function, which is called RAND integer, random integer function. What the random integer function is doing is that, so between this number is inclusive, then the random number will be generated. For example, 50. And then the second number is a random number. Then you are going to guess this random number. So you can get the guess using the input function. So the next thing is if the guess number is less than the secret number, your guess is too low. Otherwise, your guess is too high. If it's the same, then it's done. How do you check? The while loop. If we can do the same thing until when? It's not true. As long as guess is not the same as the secret number, it's different. So we can keep doing the guess is less than secret number or bigger number. So too low or too high. Keep doing. If this is a false, in other words, guess is the same as the secret number, we can out of the while loop and guess is this one. So we can run the program first, then see how it works. The terminal, the Python 3 E08. So let's guess the 50. I do not know which number. 50. It's too high. So 25. It's still too high. 12. It's too high. The 6. It's too low. It's probably between 6 and 12. So 9. It's too high. So it's 8. Yes. So the random number, secret number is 8, like this. So this is the how this program show how to use such a while loop. Then on the other hand, it's the for loop. For loop is you can uncomment there are the 3 example of the for loop. The first one is the using range. So see, so this one probably range 12 means 0, 1, 2, blah, 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 up to 11. Then print I plus 1 for each, which means 1, 2 through 12 will be displayed. You can just check by running this one. Okay, so it displayed. The 1 through 12. Yes, correct. The next one, to test it, you can comment this. So there is a list. So print each word. How can we print? The word is the list that we are going to learn again the next episode. It's a list. It's a list of the data. For each the data hide there anyone Python, the each word will be displayed. So you can learn the code, then see hide there anyone Python will be displayed. Okay. The next example. What is the hello? Hello is a string. Even string is HELLO. It's the list of letters. So we can consider such a string as a letter. We will see more details about the string in this season. I guess it's the 3 weeks later, we will see. But if you run this one, each range, alien is the length of S. So how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So range 5. So 0 through 5 will be displayed. If you do not understand the example, don't worry. We will see more details the 3 weeks later. So if you run the code, oops, there's an error. Most of error, you can find the problem. Name S is not defined, so you can uncomment S. The S is a hello. So then there will not be problem. So HELLO for each will be displayed because the string is a list of them. Okay, so I will give the 1 minute and a half so to test the E08 and E09. The list, we will see more details. We will start the season 3 continued episode 11 from the list. So if you do not know what is the list, don't worry, we will cover from the next week. So if you can test all of this, the E08, E09, please give me thumbs up. If you do not give me thumbs up, which means you don't understand, you still need the time, please stay in the room, then work with the TA. Today we have the 2 TAs. The one is Nick, another one is Brian. So I'm going to create a breakout room. Okay. Time's up. So thanks so much for your joining. So please stay in the breakout room if you need more help. And I strongly suggest you guys stay and ask the question. Well, take more time because I know it was in a hurry most of the time at the end of today's lecture. So you need the time. Please try to solve the problem with the help of TA. Then you will understand. Then you are ready for the next episode. Thanks so much for your joining and enjoy the new holiday. Thank you.